What's going on, guys, out there in the YouTube world? Gonna do a little tutorial today. I'm making some eyeballs with some 2-ton epoxy DevCon. They get the home 2-ton epoxy, the bigger set of it, a little cheaper. I got some eyes that I had bought, but I'm going to be taking some pieces of paper that I printed out on my printer. Found some eyes on Google, and I'm gonna 2-ton epoxy the eyeballs as such. You can see the difference. These ones are coated, these ones are not. And then I coated a few of these red ones just to kind of test it out, because I've never done this before. I've seen other videos of people doing this, so I figured I'd make my own little video on it. You can see how they're raised up. These ones are pretty much dried. All I did, I printed them out and I mixed up some 2-ton epoxy. Took my trusty little plastic tipped, you don't want to use a regular brush, you want to get the plastic ones like Walmart or any craft store or any place like that. They got the cheap plastic ones. Make sure your bristles aren't pulling out. And I just mix up some epoxy, dip it on there. It's that simple. I mean, I've seen people have little setups with like screws and stuff, and they stick each eyeball on there. But I figured that'd be a little bit tougher to do. So I'm gonna do it this way. I mean, it seemed to work out pretty good. This is the first time I've ever done it, so this is kind of like a trial and error thing. I got some other eyes here, and I'm gonna see what it's gonna look like. Try to hook this up and see what we can do here. DevCon 2-ton epoxy. This stuff's great. Coat all my lures with this and all my baits with this. I make a lot of my own handmade stuff. So these eyes that I'm making, I mean, I could go online and I could get some more eyes, or I could go to the bait shops and I could buy some eyes, but I figured I'd try to make some of my own designs, my own colors and stuff, just to have fun with it. You know, it's more fun to create stuff yourself and go fish with it. So I figured I'd do that. So we take our thing here. Just a little closer so you can see. Nice little mount. Really is just this simple. I do a couple coats. Kind of try to stay, I mean, you can see the stuff pretty good, so you can tell when it gets right to the outside lines on that color of the eyeball on your little copied out eyeballs here. Really quite simple to do this. And once they're dried, you can stick them on your baits and your lures. And you don't have to spend money on them, and you have your own custom stuff the fish probably haven't seen before. And that's something that I'm really I try to key in on that, using things that, or modifying all my baits, stuff that fish haven't seen or people probably haven't used. Got my fan running. I don't know if it's too noisy or not. And this is so simple to do. Set these aside for a second. Do some of these guys. Use the 20 minute 2-ton epoxy gives me a lot more time to work with my lures and baits when I'm coating them. When I'm coating a giant hard bait or a wake bait, sometimes it takes a little while to coat the whole thing, so I don't want it to dry up on me like the 5-minute epoxy does. I've had that stuff dry up on me and I had to completely scrape it off a bait before, so that 5-ton epoxy kind of isn't something I would use, I guess to say. Stuff's starting to dry up on me. Stuff's starting to dry up on me. My daughter's coming out here trying to bug me. It's all good. Let's see what she wants in a second. This stuff's getting a little dry. Starts to dry out. It's also 96 degrees out here right now, so do a few eyes. I only put a little bit of epoxy on there, so if they didn't reach all the way on the sides like some of these, I'll just come back, mix a little tiny bit more epoxy, and put a little more on them. These ones are going to be a little bit flat because I didn't get enough epoxy, but in the first couple of them, they come out pretty good. And I mean, you can already see the difference in these guys right here. They're not dried yet, but and you can totally tell the difference. Get that shine coming off from the light. Alright, I'm going to let these dry, go see what my daughter wanted me for, and I'll be right back. Ambassador's making some eyeballs for my my baits, my wake baits. So my next wake baits, I can put whatever kind of eyeballs I want on them. Now with my bigger ones, I typically hand paint the eyeballs on these guys, but I may start making my own eyes. I mean, no point in being able to make something cool and not utilize it. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, had to go help my daughter print something on the computer. Back now. Got a little bit dry on me, so I have to switch out some stuff here. Get another lid. This is these old lids, and just reuse them. Once the epoxy dries, you can just go right back over them. You don't have to throw them away. I got like 5 or 6 layers on each one of these lids. I'm gonna do a few more eyeballs here. What I'm going to do on these, I was looking at a few of them a second ago, and I noticed that some of them weren't really quite as raised as I would like them to be. They're not quite round. They're pretty flat. So I'm going to put some more epoxy across some of these ones that I already did and try to beef them up. I'm going to start off going backwards from where I ended, so I can make these ones a little bigger, because this stuff's just going. And when it just starts to get going, once you just mixed it, that's when it's nice and goopy and you can get these on there real easy. Oops, that one's ruined. Since that one's ruined, I'm just going to use that extra bit there. That was all bad. That was too much. This is my first time doing this, so I use this epoxy coat a lot, but not really in this fine of a detail, I guess to say. Well, I was looking online at different eyeballs and stuff, so I just grabbed what I could and I resized it. Took me a couple tries to print them out to get them the right size, but once I got them just about basically the right size, now they're saved on my computer, and if I ever want to go back, I can reprint out these eyeballs basically however I want. I'm just going to make a few of these. I don't need to make a ton of them, so making a few. I mean, if you ever have a crankbait or something bust an eyeball, you can just go back and make your own stuff basically. So I'm just going to do a short row of those guys. Going to put another dab on these guys before the stuff dries on me. Ooh, way too much. Trying to really get that raised look. Now, I was just thinking about it a second ago. A lot of times on my baits and my lures, I'll mix the glitters in with the epoxy, so you get glitter in the epoxy. I'm thinking about putting a little bit of glitter in some of these, get that extra little shine out of the eyeball, something that those other eyes don't have. Not too much though. You don't want to put too much glitter on something like this. And of course I use the glitter that I use for my Senkos and everything, so it's like heat resistant and all that stuff. It's really strong glitter. It's not normal everyday glitter. So I'm sitting here doing this project and I'm making these eyeballs. My daughter had printed out a picture of herself and her boyfriend from school, and she jokingly told me that I should take this 2-ton epoxy and make a picture and put the epoxy over the picture of her and her boyfriend. I think it's a pretty cool idea. I'm actually going to get some thicker paper and I may do a little project like that for her. Put this 2-ton epoxy on it and make the whole picture look like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean, these are pretty cool, man. I like the way these are turning out. Yeah, Hidden Bass Lairs, just sitting here doing some stuff, making some eyeballs. I think those are going to look pretty good on some of my swim baits. There you have it, man. Just some super easy way to make some stuff. And yeah, 2-ton epoxy, pretty cheap. Cheap little plastic brushes. I cut all these up. I'll stick them in here, and I'll have them for later if I ever want to make more eyeballs. I got eyeballs in here already. I bought a bunch that I have different sizes and stuff of different colors. I've used most of the stuff that I have in there up already, but I just decided instead of buying them, and I seen a little video I was watching last night on this, you know, why not just make some myself? So, made some eyeballs myself. Now the raised blades got a personality. These are pretty cool, man. It's a little bit wet still. Pretty cool, man. It's good to try to get right up along the side of that thing. I think it's pretty cool how you can just print these right on the paper. Cut them out. So that's a rookie mistake there. I should have let this dry. I just got my fingerprint on that thing, and it just pretty much ruined the finish on it. So for a tutorial thing for you guys, if you ever try to do this, because this is my first time doing it, don't put your finger on it. You'll get a thumbprint on there or fingerprint. Should have let it dry a little bit more, and I could have got a little more round of a cut, but it's just a little tutorial, so yep. I mean, still a cool little eyeball. Just something that I made. Anyways, Urban Bass Layers, getting some stuff made out here. Can start delving into finishing up some of these baits here. Gotta carve them. I got this one started. The little guy, it's going to be basically one of these guys, but smaller. And yep, got a bunch of stuff to make, so gotta start printing out some stuff, making some shirts. Might even start making some hats. I don't know. Gonna start doing some stuff around here. Gotta make some fishing stuff because fishing's fun. Urban Bass Layers 2016. Going into the fall transition. Gonna make some stuff. Make this happen. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that button. Urban Bass Layers.